Today's a huge day for the People's Podcast, the day we've all been waiting for, the most anticipated guest to date. We watch the show to see what new terms of endearment might glean from him. One thing that most people notice when watching the interactions he has on the show is the positive and almost dad-like ways he handles each and every person he comes into contact with.
He does.
Following in his father's footsteps in law enforcement, this guy has over 25 years of duty behind him. His two oldest sons have now followed in his footsteps, leaving the world a better place with 3 generations of duty in the family. With that said, be careful traveling through the city. These men are lurking. He has been a repeat guest on the show. He's done countless interviews. He's a minister, a father, a husband, and a friend. You may recognize a few of his taglines like, "If you run, we will chase you, we will catch you, and you'll blow your begonias off." OPL Recap family, please welcome the one and only Chief Bradley Taylor from Hazen PD.
Hey, buddy. Hey, it's the Chief. You hear me?
Chief Taylor in the house.
Hey, guys. How's everybody doing?
You know what? We're great. Jim, you good?
Fantastic. I'm even better now.
Chief, I want to say this up front. Jimmy is nervous as all get out because he normally says, "And we're back," but he forgot.
I was just in the moment. I really am. Like, I'm in awe. My girlfriend's got your shirt on.
Hey, I'm going to tell you, just like I tell them folks on the side of the road, I put my britches on just like you do, one leg at a time, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We hear you on that one. I just need to, I need a moment.
I'm going to disclose this up front right now, Chief. His fiance may love you more than she loves him. I'm just letting you know. So, hey, Jim, what do you say we jump right in and ask Chief Taylor the first question? Am I up or are you up?
You're up, my friend.
All right. I'm going to keep it simple. I ask everybody the same question. I asked Addie Perez this question, Braylon, Corporal Carr. I'm going to ask you the same thing, Chief. I think the people would like to hear your elevator pitch. If Chief Taylor got into an elevator with somebody who didn't know him and asked you what you do, who are you? Introduce yourself. 60 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, whatever you want. What would you tell them about Bradley Taylor?
Man, I'm honestly, guys, I'm just as normal as everybody else. You know, I'm that guy that just happens to be fortunate enough to be in law enforcement that as a career. I've been doing this 27 years. You know, this is my 27th year, and a lot of time I tell people, you know, hey, I'm a law enforcement officer, you know, and I'm proud of it. And I'm a very godly man at this point in my life. Before that, I'll tell you, man, I wasn't that kind of guy. I was a rounder with the best of them, to be honest with you. And the Lord got a hold of me and changed my life. And man, it's just unbelievable the things that He has produced. And you sent me some questions, and you said, and I may be getting into some of them now, but you know, you said 10 years ago. Well, 8 years ago, the Lord got my attention, and I'm telling you what, from the time I heard what He said to now, look at my life. Everybody knows who I am now, most of the time. I mean, you talking about get on the elevator with somebody. I was in Florida on vacation a month or two ago, and I walk into the elevator, and this lady's, "Oh my God, you're him." So, you know, I'm in Florida, New York. Everywhere I go, somebody realizes who I am.
Right.
So,
and I feel your pain on that. It's amazing because you're telling us that it was almost like a Saul being turned to Paul situation with you, if I can borrow a phrase from the New Testament, where he hit you with the light and you've never been the same since, and he brought you to new heights that maybe you never thought you'd be at. Would you say that's correct?
Oh, that's 100% right, Mike. That is I mean, absolutely never ever would have imagined. I mean, how do you pick a police department with 6 police officers in a small town in Hazen, America, with 1,800 people? I mean, it's just, to me, that's a God thing. That's all that is, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, no question about that. Shout out to the Lord, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for what he's done in my life, what he's done in your life, what he's continued doing in all of our lives. So if they can't get with that on this interview, they can click it off. But we're about that life, aren't we?
Yes, sir, 100%.
We're going to jump into some questions. So, Chief, the small town of Hazen, how do you decide when you're going to be in the city or jumping on that highway and doing some interdictions? Do you just say, all right, let's just go this way? Or do you have maybe just, I don't know, intuition where you're just like, all right, we're going to sit here for 2 hours and maybe catch something?
No, man, we just kind of cruise. I'm in the city probably half the time of the TV show. It just nothing really happens or pops off or anything like that goes on in town. So then I'll be like, oh, let's ride, let's go cruise the interstate. Now I got my guys that, those younger guys. I got Dylan and Colton and Josh, and man, they're interstate criminal addiction hounds. I did that 10 years ago. I've gotten older. It's sometimes I get too tired for all that mess. But they get out there, they get after it, they start, they tear it up. And I'll get out there because they'll get to making fun of me a little bit. So, oh, the old man ain't got nothing for it, So I'll get out there and I'll get out there try and school them a little bit, But other than that, there's no rhyme or reason. I like to spend, half and half, because we have to cover that interstate quite a bit to help state police out. But we also have to take care of town too. Granted, you don't see much of town because I like to tell everybody with the town, what you see us doing on that interstate, the town gets that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And with 1,800 people, I mean, the town folks,
yeah.
I don't know how to put it. I've been there my whole life. I know everybody and everybody knows me. And everybody's going to snitch on everybody. I don't care. They're going to tell on each other. So then they'll be like, I'll be at the grocery store. I'll be at the grocery store and they'll go, Mr. Bradley, so-and-so's doing this. So we've got a wonderful relationship with town. The town people are good and they support us 100%.
I was going to say, I was looking at your city and it was just 10 streets one way, 15 streets another way. And I think what you cover on the highway is more than what the town is combined, right?
Yeah, as far as miles.
That highway is 24 miles long. Yeah.
Yes, 12 miles one way and 12 miles the other way. So it's a pretty good stretch. And what we run into is the way the state's divided with the state police is we have Troop D, which goes from our county line all the way over to the east to Memphis, Tennessee. And then we're on from our county line west all the way through Little Rock, and it's Troop A. We have Troop A in Little Rock, Troop D in Forest City, and it goes from our county line to Memphis and Troop D. So we're kind of on the edge of Troop A and Troop D. Well, just like any other law enforcement agency, at times they're shorthanded, and they're always running troop schools and stuff like that. So we have to get out there and help them because they may be tied up in a more crime populated area, like over towards Memphis, West Memphis, Forest City, things like that. And they need their resources there. So we have a wonderful working relationship with them, and they call upon us, and, we help them. We'll go work wrecks. Like if they'll send us out there on the interstate. They'll say, hey, you got a hazing unit available? And we'll go handle that. And I tell my guys, man, that's how we take care of each other.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you guys short staffed? Somebody want to know if you guys are hiring up there.
Dude, I couldn't dynamite these guys out of here. Okay, I mean I couldn't get rid of them if I wanted to. We have absolutely no turnover, and literally, I've never had any turnover. If I always try and encourage my young guys to go to the state police, to get a state job, gaming fish, just not saying that being a city police officer is bad or anything, but I want them boys
Of
or
course.
young guys, I want them to better themselves. I'm going to try and teach them to be better than what I was at that age, make more money for their family.
I got you.
And Lord, I got 2 young boys now, and they're the same age. And I think Dylan and them's probably 26, 27 now. And those are my youngest guys. But I just don't see them boys leaving. I think eventually when I leave and Arlen Van Houten, which is my assistant chief, when he leaves, those are 2 boys that I think is going to be running the show eventually when we leave because they're hometown boys. Now they're going to have a problem finding, they're going to find somebody because these new generations just, man, it's hard to find somebody in law enforcement who's got any common sense these days.
Yeah, it's a different time, that's for sure.
Yes.
But yeah, so Jimmy, there's your answer.
There it is.
Sorry, it was long.
But do you have room? You got room for one more, though, right, Chief? Come on.
I wish I could. I really do. I wish I could because one of these days, I always kept telling myself, one of these days I'm going to be that chief that just sits in the office and don't do anything. And everybody says, man, you ain't got it in you. You ain't got it in
you. Nope, you don't. And we all know it. We can see it a mile away.
Is there a call that you ever went to that kind of changed your life or your outlook on policing?
Man, I get those weekly, I guess you could say. Man, there's always a call that it makes you take a step back and realize that, sometimes I'm having a bad day, at times, and then go to somebody's house and see how they're living and the circumstances that they're going through. And a lot of times I'm like, man, you're being a little titty baby because you don't have it that bad. You're not in that spot, and a lot of times it's by their own decisions that they've been put in that spot, but it still don't make your heart, it makes your heart hurt, and last, I'll just give you, for example, last Thursday before the show last weekend, we were involved in a very big shootout.
Here we go.
Over 400 rounds was fired. The U.S. Marshals were shot at. Myself and Sergeant Dillion were the 2 immediate backup. We were the closest units there. And then Officer Cook showed up with us, and then my assistant chief. And me and Sergeant Dillion were the first 2 snipers on scene. And we were.
Well, that was your old department, Devall's Bluff, right?
Yes, sir, Devall's Bluff. And we were on a roof for about 2.5 hours, and there was a lot of rounds fired that day. They were shooting when we got there. That kind of set me back a little bit because a lot of rumors started flying. That one of them was that I was a hostage, and somebody went into my wife's work and told her that I was held hostage, in which I wasn't.
Oh my Lord!
I was behind the gun the whole time, but and I can't answer my cell phone and things like that because I can't take my eye out of the scope, and so that kind of changed a little bit of the dynamic for me, because. My family thought I was in a bad way. And finally I was an hour and a half later, I had to take a break. I had to come off the gun a little bit. My eyes were hurting, and me and Sergeant D started swapping behind the guns until we finally got some relief there. But when we come off there, we was both mentally and physically exhausted. And I looked down at my phone, and I finally was able to tell my wife I was okay. We're pinned down. We can't go anywhere, but we're okay. We're alive. We're safe. There's shooting still going on, but it'll be over with in a little bit. But that changed a little everything because not only was I there, that I done drug that young boy that I told you about, Dylan. He was there, and I had Arlen there, and my son was there. Chance, the one's a state trooper.
Wow.
And then Clayton's there, and Clayton wasn't gonna leave me anyway. Me and him would have died laying next to each other. It's just how it is. But I got to.
Wow.
I left there and got done talking to investigators, and it's still under a little bit of investigation. But I got done talking with state police investigators because we were involved, and told what happened and things like that. And I mean, dude, I immediately had to go to the church. And I just had to thank the good Lord for keeping them boys safe, keeping me safe, letting me come home. And it's my wife said, well, just why are you going to church? Why can't you just pray at home? I said, man, I'm telling you, it changed me a little. You asked for something that changed me, and I felt like I needed to get as close to God as I could. And then I went to the sanctuary at the church and got on my hands and knees in full uniform. Vacation Bible school going on, people are singing. And, it's just that right there. I had to get real close because it could have very well ended that day. And not only for me, but I drove a bunch of other guys in there with me. So.
Yep.
Every week.
No.
I get calls that change my outlook on life. So it's just not one certain one. And that Tuesday night before that Thursday, we had a head-on collision accident that had several people killed in it. So when we got to work Friday to be on the TV show, we were mentally and physically exhausted. We were limping to get by on a Friday night and a Saturday night, and a lot of people don't see that. And we don't put it out there. We don't put all that out there. We don't want everybody to know that. And you see these people going, man, they look tired. What's wrong with them? Man, I was just involved in a 4-hour standoff and I'm wore out physically. I'm sore. My body's hurting.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
I know y'all been there.
Yeah. No, completely get it. Yeah, but listen, I'll tell you this. I mean, it was a fantastic question. One of the wisest statements one of my bosses ever told me when I got promoted was, you have to be prepared to command people to their death.
Yeah.
And you need to be right by their side if we're going to send them. You know what I mean? So that's a tough part of the gig. But after 27 years of doing this, you're still being changed on a weekly basis. That's amazing. That's amazing, Chief.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what, it was crazy. I was headed over there and all I could hear was gunshots on the radio. And I heard my middle son, Chance, which is a state trooper. He said he was in Helena. So I knew he's 45 minutes away. I was like, thank you, Jesus. And my son was he's a sergeant. He's a sergeant for the sheriff's office. And he was 20 minutes away. And I said, okay. So when I got there, we made everybody say, y'all got to stage up a thing down the road. Nobody else comes in here. We had them block the road. So I knew I was going to keep my kids out there. And then I look up and my middle son, when he finally gets there, he's down. He's with, the trooper. He gets to come on in. So, and finally they all had to be backed out. But that's the thing. I'm trying to not only protect the guys, but I'm a dad now, and I got 2 of them in law enforcement. It's like, get out of here, kids. I can't bury y'all before me.
Right. So you're trying to be a dad, a supervisor, a sniper. You're trying to be all these things, a leader all at once. And it's like, mentally and physically exhausted when it's all said and done. Yeah, I completely get it.
Dude, my body was sore for 2 days. I promise you, brother. I was literally sore. So.
Wow. I feel you. I feel your pain on that one.
It's amazing you went to do the show the next day. Like that's
that never happened.
100%.
And that's what that's what I try and tell people, like Thursday morning at 8:26 a.m. I'd planned on going to the coffee shop and drinking coffee with the old guys at the round table. I sit there daily and I plan on shooting the BS and listening to their bull and them shooting me bull and just aggravating each other. And but like I tell people, a lot, plans change. A lot of you have things in your life that you think you're going to do, or what you're going to do tomorrow, what you're going to do today, and plans change. So that's why I'm trying to be set on being set right with the good Lord. I didn't intend on being shot at Thursday at 8:30 that morning, but it happens.
No, of course not.
So
yep, it sure does. Oh man. Well, we thank God you're safe, Chief. We're happy to hear that. Just to switch gears just a little bit, if we could.
Yeah, let's get all that off that sad
stuff. my heart was racing as you're telling the story. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, there's so much.
Yeah. I think you're gonna like some of the edits for this. It'd be pretty cool. Yeah. So we know you're an avid outdoorsman. We know you're a hunter. We know you're a fisherman. Duck season's huge up there. What's your favorite thing to do? Is it fishing or hunting? And if you're hunting, what are you using and what are you going for? Your favorite thing?
I love turkey hunting. Turkey hunting's the most fun. It's in the springtime. It's in April. And I go to Texas. I've been going to Texas for like 20 years. It's I don't know. It's so much fun. We shoot shotguns. Now we've had some competitions on, hey, all right, can you shoot one with a bow and arrow? And I said, well, and I'm not a bow and arrow person, y'all. I'm not at all. And I mean, I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn if you wanted me to, but I went out and took a bow and arrow and shot and killed a turkey the first time, and I walked around. That ain't nothing. It was just lucky. And then, I took a 410 shotgun and shot and killed one. So, I mean, it's just, and I go back acting like I'm a big dog, but I guess the best way for me to put turkey hunting, that's the most fun you can have with your clothes on.
Well, Jim, guess what we're doing next April?
Hey, know what? And I love taking people that's never been. That's the most fun because it's so exciting.
Yeah, I've never been.
It is so exciting because you're not just sitting there waiting to kill something. You're actually calling these birds. You're interacting with them. Either they're answering you or you're mad because they ain't talking to you. They're not gobbling. They're not doing whatever. This year, me and Sergeant Dillion, we hunted one for 3 hours. And I was just about to the point. We done twisted her ankles, fell off the side of the rocks. And I was just like, forget this bird. And he's like, oh, no, we can't quit. And finally, we killed him eventually. But I like doing that. And now I just got back yesterday from trout fishing up North Arkansas. And every year for the last, probably 10 years, we take the senior. I've been involved in taking the senior boys on a fishing trip. The seniors that are not all the senior football boys, but the boys that are seniors, we take them on an annual fishing trip, and it's quite amazing. A lot of those boys had never fished, and you're talking about seniors in high school that their parents and 90% of them's never been trout fishing. So it's just a fun thing that I like to do is take them just in it's simple stuff because a lot of times there's no phone service. So they actually got to set their phones down and learn how to communicate and talk. And we had a wonderful group this year. Some of the kids, they were always yes, sir, no, sir. And I had one boy that, man, he just really got into it and was sitting there paying attention to me. And I showed him how to tie the spinners and different things like that. And man, he said that, this is the most fun he'd ever had. So, that means a lot. Is,
Wow.
spending, we left on Sunday morning. Saturday night had the show. We left on Sunday morning. We went about 2 hours north of here, and then I got home yesterday. So, we spent 3 days with those kids, and we cooked the trout we caught, and they ate that and enjoyed it. So, I mean, it's things
So
like
good.
that are what I like to do.
All right, Chief, here's the real question.
All right.
Who's a better shot, you or Dillion?
I'm not even gonna lie, he can outshoot me. I just,
Oh,
I'm not even gonna fight you on that one. We've been to the range so many times together, and I know my capability. And we've been to some long ranges out into Texas with some of our special forces buddies that have some training things. And my limit's 800 yards, and he can go well beyond 800 yards. My eyesight is
800's
not
impressive.
My eyesight's not much real good past 800. But anything out 800, 1200 and above, I know he can do it. So,
wow.
That's impressive.
Ooh.
So you guys can do elk and gator and all that stuff out there. What's your biggest catch so far?
We've been gator hunting a few times. Now Clayton and him and one of his buddies went, and they caught a big 12-foot alligator. We do have some elk out in Texas in our high fence place. I've never killed one. I like looking at them. I've never shot one. Clayton's never shot one either. But we've killed some really big deer, and those, we enjoy that. So I don't know. We got a lot of big catches and big kills and things like that.
Mm-hmm. And everything you catch, kill, you guys clean, you guys eat or share it amongst.
We're going to eat it or share it.
Families and everything like that.
I brought 4 bags of that trout back. We cleaned. We had one day we kept all of them because I had an older guy that wanted me to bring him some trout. So I was like, "Got you, brother. I'm gonna hook you up." And most people won't eat them because they don't like them, but they're okay. I mean, the best way I like to do them is fillet them and smoke them, cover them in butter and a little lemon juice and Tony Chachere's and garlic. And man, to me they're pretty good. You can actually cook the bones out of them, but
yes, you can.
Yeah, it's good.
Yes, you can. All right, Chief Taylor. Now we're bringing out the heavy hitting questions. We're like investigative journalists down here in Daytona. So we got a question for you that the people have been clamoring about for weeks. And I'm going to ask it to you because they've been mentioning it on all these Facebook pages and Twitter. So here it is. Have you, Chief Taylor, tried to change the way you refer to people on the show after the slight backlash from the honey, sugar, baby stuff? And if so, why?
And there you have it, folks. That's part 1 of OPL Recap's exclusive interview with the Chief, Bradley Taylor from Hazen, Arkansas PD. Next week, another huge interview is coming. But before that, part 2 of this interview will be aired tomorrow night, same time on YouTube. Like, share, follow, and subscribe.